Are y'all ready for me? Like, really? Are you ready for me? You know what I'm saying? It's Strick City Live. So this is what I need you to do. I need you to do what I should have already done. Can we do it together? Like me and you, like right now? Like, can listen, like for real. Let's just do this together. Me and you, we're gonna go into our pages, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna share this today. Hey, dude, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming through today. I have a group of people that are in the eCam community that are like super, super dope. The eCam community, I was telling them that I'm official now in eCam because I have the eCam mug. They sent this out to me, right? eCam is actually the person that's powering, or I'm producing this show using eCam's technology. For all my Mac users, if you're trying to do production, eCam is a great way to be able to do switching, multiple screens, and right now you can actually bring guests in to your live stream, and it is a great system to use. But I'm connecting with some people in the eCam community that are just amazing. I've been working with or listening to a lot. I'm hoping that he'll spend a little bit more time with me. But shouts out to my man Doc Rock, who is he's actually one of the moderators for our beta group, and wealth of information. Like this dude, like he's almost like a computer. You know what I'm saying? He knows a little bit of everything and keep you on task from technology to graphics. Doc Rock is the man, but I'm definitely getting hooked up with some more people that are doing some amazing things with the technology. That being said, I was talking, and guess what I wasn't doing? I wasn't sharing. But I hope you were. Man, I need like everybody, your mama, your sister, your cousin, your auntie, everybody to be on this one tonight. I got a friend of mine I've been rocking with for a really, really long time that's on the show tonight. Like this guy has, man, he wrote a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you written a book? Like this guy has got, he's a rapper. He's a speaker. And he is now a author. I got the book today. We're going to talk about it. I'm giving you a chance to get on because, man, you got to hear some of this stuff this guy is saying. Some, like, he's at a place right now where I think he feels comfortable really sharing more of his faith, but it's unconventional. Like, the audience that he talks to are people that have gone away from the faith, that don't believe in the Bible. And he goes head in with them with information from the Bible, information from outside the Bible, just giving them facts and showing them real love. So we're going to dive down deep. Some of the stuff he talks about, if you've been in church for a while, you're going to question. You're like, what is he talking about? Like, is this for real? Like, it's kind of like that. So I've already shared it on both my pages. You know what I'm saying? Definitely book ups to everybody that's watching on YouTube. My YouTube family is coming through Periscope and Twitter. It's always good to have you guys on with us today. And I got to shout out another group. You know, I have a media partner, right? You know what I'm saying? I have a media partner. Who is that media partner? Is Urban Ham. UrbanHam.com is where you want to go for all the latest information in the city. You want to know what's happening? UrbanHam.com is where you get it. Okay, so definitely big shouts out to them for always supporting Strick City. And we got some stuff that we're working on, man. I do have a slight announcement. I can halfway give this announcement to everybody. So I'm doing a Christmas shopping spree this year. I think I'll stop right there because more details to come. I'm working with a bunch of people. It's not just me. It's a ton of people that are going to be working with me to pull this thing off. But we're going to grab some kids and we're going to tell them, you got so much money. We're going to take them to a local store where they can just get as many toys as they want. Well, as many toys as our pockets could allow. But we're raising funds right now, and it's going really well. So somebody's going to have a great Christmas. I think I'm going to try to do it like the Willy Wonka thing. You got to have the golden ticket to get in. And if you get that golden ticket, your life will never be the same. All right? That's what I'm working on, man. Strick City Live, we're coming through. We're working with a group called We Give. It's a nonprofit organization, and the opportunity to actually work with a group of people that want to give. That's a novel idea during the holidays, right? Who doesn't want to be a giver? I want to be a giver. And things are moving. It's December. Guess what? No, almost December. Thanksgiving is a couple of days away. We're almost in December. Like in my mind, I'm working on December stuff. We're at the end of 2020. Like no matter how good, bad, or indifferent you feel about the year, it is almost over. I'm telling you, it's almost over. Now, some of your issues may not be over, but I want to tell you, man, you made it. Like 2020 took out a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people are gone. I mean, they just said bye. 2020 took a lot of people out of here, but you are still here. I want you to keep fighting, keep working. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's still on your side. Guess what? He hasn't moved at all. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't moved at all. So big shouts out to my man Reddy. Let's get it, brother. Big shouts out to Pastor Pitts. Man, dude, appreciate you coming through. Blessings to you as well, brother. Man, you guys are already doing it today, hitting us up. Listen, I want y'all to hang out with us today because of my guest. It's now time to put him on. I don't know how long he's been like rapping because he's probably rapping longer than I've been alive. You know, he's been rapping for a while, you know what I'm saying? And the dude is good at it. I should just pull up like the last video he did, but if I do, I'm gonna get like a claim or strike from YouTube because that's his material. But the guy is bad as far as rapping goes. You guys gotta look him up. But before you look him up, I need you to hang in right now with your boy Strick because I have the awesome opportunity to bring to the show again my brother, my friend, none other than Mr. LP. What's up, dude?
What it do, Strick? What it do? What it do?
Man, I'm happy to have you on, man.
Man, look, I'm grateful for the opportunity, man. You know what I'm saying? Strick City live. We live, baby. Let's get
We
it.
live, man. We live. Listen. I gotta tell you this. Janice, how you doing? Appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. Sheila, how you doing? Appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. Listen, I was with you. We were talking. You said, hey, Strick, man, we need your voice. We need you to come. Because I was like super chilling, man. Super chilling. Like, you know, I did radio for a while. And I was like, you know, I want to do some stuff. But what happened was nothing kind of fell in my lap. And you was like, Strick, you need to do something. Like, we need you back in the community working. And, man, the reason why I have this show right now was because I believe God was speaking through you to kind of push me a little bit to kind of get back out there. And here we are. Can you believe that?
We live, baby. Strick City. Let's get
I want to say
That's
thank you,
what's
man.
up, man.
Thank you for pushing
Man,
me.
it's
You know
no
what I'm saying?
problem, bro.
And we
It's no
got
problem. I
and
just
we,
understand. I understand and I know, you know what I'm saying, when greatness is has to be manifested, we gotta do whatever we can to manifest it because it's gonna benefit everybody. You know what I'm saying?
And my heart, man, is to work with everybody. And we got more people coming through LP. My man, Matt McCants, one time for you. You know, that some big things happen. Definitely shouts out to my co-host that's not here right now. We got to work on that. Hey, Lo, you know what I'm saying? I love you to death. And I have my dude, you know what I'm saying, Million stopping through the show tonight. So big shouts out to you, Million. What's up? I got to have you on the show. Cause we gotta talk to you. Well, you know he's over on the West Coast right now. Like he done switched up the game. Like he's doing some
Oh
major
wow.
things out on the West Coast. I gotta have you
Man,
on.
congratulations. Shouts out to that brother, man. That dude is talented, man.
He is very talented. That being said, LP, today you were on How to Win as a stand-in host for Pastor Mike Moore. Tell me about the opportunity for you to be a part of his team to be able to be on his leadership show that he does every week.
Man, I'm extremely grateful, man, and sometimes it's actually surreal. You know, I've been sitting at Pastor Mike's feet for almost 20 years now, and you know, just soaking up all of the knowledge, all of the wisdom that he has to offer, and you know, it was an honor. You know what I'm saying? Whenever he asked me to do it, this is probably like my fifth time doing it, and it's just been, it's still surreal to me. You know what I'm saying? To have that opportunity, but he believes in me. Gives me freedom to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And I just do my best to try to stay in alignment with whatever it is he's teaching. And it's been dope, man. It's been real dope, man. Shouts out to Pastor Mike, Faith Chapel. You know what I'm saying? They've been a blessing to me for a long time. And so I'm just doing whatever I can to serve under that ministry.
Man, it's amazing, man, to be able to do that. They have a huge ministry and it's growing. And man, I'm just at awe at the opportunities you're getting, but they're well deserved. You know what I'm saying? They're so well deserved. And that being said, rapper, speaker, we talked about a little bit of that, and now author. Like, when did you decide that, you know what, I want to write a book? How did that happen?
Well, I've been writing for a long time. When I started my Bible reading regiment, which was in 2003, started just reading one chapter a day, and after I read that chapter, I'll write a commentary on that chapter. And so for many years, I've handwritten commentaries, and then whenever we got on social media, I just started. After I do my Bible reading, I'll write my commentary and just post it on social media. And so a lot of those commentaries, along with a lot of conversations, debates, arguments that I've had with people on social media about stuff, I just decided to archive all of that information, and just started putting the information together. And when the pandemic hit, I actually I started writing on this particular book, my thoughts, ideas, and suggestions for the church, for the Bible, the church, and religion. I started writing on this probably in October of last year. And so I was about 10% done.
Gotcha.
And I was like 90% done with my book that I got coming out, my thoughts, ideas, and suggestions for relationships. I was like 90% done with that. And the Lord dealt with me and was like, I need you to finish the one, with the Bible and church and religion. I'm like, but it's only 10% done. I'm
Wow.
90% done with this one. And the Lord was like, nah, I need you to do that. So throughout all the quarantine, I was writing, compiling all the information, going here, trying to get it from, cause I got a lot of the information, archived in different places. So I was just assembling all that stuff, putting it together and writing on it. And then at the same time, I was having these deep discussions and debates and conversations with people, with atheists and people who don't believe in the Bible and don't believe in God. And, these conversations was just sparking so much for me to write. And so as I was writing that stuff down, I was like, just assembling it together with the book. And so the book actually is three parts. Part one, what we're talking about now, which is out, is about the Bible. Part
Gotcha.
two is about the church. Part three is about religion in general. And all the writing that I had been doing, if I was to put it in one book, it would probably be about 500 and something pages.
Wow.
And so I had to split it up into three books, to get people to, so people would be interested in just going ahead and diving in and reading it,
Man, that's what's
so
up.
so yeah, man. So that's what sparked that off.
Well, I'm intrigued by it, and I want to get to a place where people can see this. Let me get side by side with you so people can actually see the book. Well, this is just me, and I want to be there. There we go. So this is the book, you know what I'm saying, that he's talking about today. My thoughts, ideas, and suggestions for the Bible, the church, and religion. This is part number one, the Bible. You actually released a book in part. I mean, I think it's cool. You know what I'm saying? What you got here is such a great idea. People need to hear, but it's actually written to, and I think you made mention of this, a lot of what you were doing social media wise were helping a group of people that may have a misinterpretation of the Bible or just didn't believe in it at all.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
correct?
Yes,
And
it's
before,
a lot of people, and I speak on this throughout the book constantly. It's a lot of people who, they had encounters with people who were extremely bad people, people who hurt them, people who did awful things to them,
right,
um, and people who have done awful things in the past, historical figures, and the whole time they had a Bible in their hand, they attended church, and they were practicing their religion.
right, I
And
got you.
so when individuals think of that, they like, hold on, wait a minute, we have to question this stuff, because some of the most hateful and terrible people, whether it was a parent, whether it was, you know what I'm saying, whatever the
Right,
case may be, a pastor that they dealt with or whatever, they trying to understand how could this, this book and this faith, we got to question this stuff, because the people who I'm looking to, that they carrying their Bible, they going to church, and they practice their religion, why are they doing such horrible things? And so with that being said, having those experiences, and then at the same time, with people experiencing grief, disappointment, and loss, a loved one dying, or a very horrible circumstance take place, and they're like, okay, where is God?
right.
And because they feel that God wasn't there for them, they immediately be, okay, well, let me question this stuff. And one thing about it, offended people, they find each other. And so a lot of offended people have found each other on social media,
Got
and
you.
they've launched an all out attack on the Bible, the church, and religion. And so in that attack, there's been a lot of questions that I have been asked, and I've been forced to answer those questions.
Wow.
And I take, over the past, 20 years, this has been a thing, because I've always been a, hey, I love Jesus type of person.
Got you.
And
Got you.
so when people have their issues, they like, they can't punch God, they can't hit God, so what's the next best thing? I can give the people who represent God hell. And so I've been the one that they've given hell for a long time.
You took on
And
that
so I've had
mantle.
to
She's
answer a
like,
lot of
okay,
the
God, let me
questions.
do it. Let me get in the way. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Hey, I want to do this real quick. Definitely shout out to my dude, Arthur Ruffin, for hanging out with us tonight. You know what I'm saying? Good people right there. We
My
got a
dog
lot.
Ruff.
Yeah, man. We got a lot of people hanging out with us tonight. And this is what I want to do. So if you're watching tonight, man, let's do this interactively. I have a bunch of questions for LP. We're about to get into it. But if you have a question, put it in the comments. I will get it to him. Okay, we'll ask the question on the show. We'll just put it up on the screen. This is a question from you to LP. Now we're talking about the book, and I want to start with this big question, LP, because in a lot of the conversations that you have with people, it probably centers around one main thing. All right, and the question is God in control? Like from your standpoint, from your ideas, suggestions about the Bible, or in thoughts, is God in control?
Well, that's a pretty extreme chapter. I've had a lot of people who had some issues with me and what I said in that particular chapter. Um, However, I ask a series of questions. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
You know, um, who who brought the children of Israel out of Egyptian bondage? Moses. It was a man. Who did the covenant that God made, who solidified that covenant? It was a man. Who brought the children of Israel into the promised land? Joshua. It was a man. Who had to redeem man because of what man had done in the garden? Jesus, a man. And so whenever we open up the book and we start in Genesis chapter 1, when we get to verse 26, it tells us, let us make man after our likeness and image, and let them have dominion over the earth. And then he told man, subdue the earth. The word subdue means to control, to bring under subjection. And so when you look at everything that took place in the scriptures, in order for it to happen, a man had to initiate it. The scripture tells us that, God he works together with us. He's a worker together with us. And so anytime he needed something done in the earth, he had to go to a man. So with that being said, a lot of people, I've had to talk to them about this issue because people will throw this, well, if God is a loving God, you got people um, over in Africa starving. Why don't he just fix that situation and feed those people?
All right,
If he's a loving God.
hold on. I want to interrupt you real quick right here, and I apologize for doing this, but I want to be sure that I'm clear on my first question, LP, because I hear where you're going, but I want to be sure that I'm clear. Is God in control? Because I hear you go down the line of man did this, man did that, man did this other thing, but where was God in the whole scenario?
That's the question. Where was God when the bank got robbed? Was God in control when the bank got robbed? And this is a very touchy subject, what I'm about to say right now. And this is where a lot of the anger and the hatred and the frustration that people have launched out to me based
Okay.
on this particular situation I'm about to say.
Hold on, this is some good stuff, man. Let me position myself the right way. Come on, give it to me.
But seriously, on a serious note, when a child is sexually abused, was God in control in that situation? And because the individual has in their mind, yes, God is in control. He's all powerful. He's in control right now. So the child is saying, I'm being taken advantage of sexually. Why isn't God stopping this? Why isn't God fixing this? You get what I'm saying? And then we stand up in church and say that God is in control. And so the individual has in their mind, well, God is a horrible father because he's not stopping this situation right now. And so whenever I deal with that issue, I help people to understand that the only way God can be in control is if man submits to God. If man uh, operates and function in his purpose and he submits to what God is telling him to do, then God is in control at that point in time. But as long as men have made a decision to not submit to God, not to operate according to his will for their life, God is not in control. So for the individual who robbed the bank, and we've made theologies around this stuff. We've said, well, how can you tell a victim of sexual abuse, say, well, God sent you through that so that he can teach you a lesson, or so that you can come and you can help somebody else, so that you, no. Think about all the people that have experienced those things, and they are mentally, they are messed up because of that experience.
Okay.
And all things work together for the good. Come on now. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? We making these theologies over this stuff, when in all actuality, again, let's just take it from the top. God gave dominion to man and told man, you subdue the earth. You control. So whenever you take it upon yourself to operate according to your call and the will of God for your life, when you submit to God and you operate according to his will, that's when God is in control.
He's in at that point. He's in control in my life, and I'm a conduit for His will. But that doesn't necessarily mean the other person is allowing God to be in control. And the person that is controlling them could either be themselves, demonic forces, or whatever else they want to do. Is that what you're
Right,
saying?
because the only time control is even utilized in the scripture is when it's talking about self control. You see what I'm saying?
So
So
you're
God,
saying you're saying we're basically using the wrong word there instead of using control.
right,
It's not a level
right.
of control. It's a level of I guess
Sovereignty.
There you go.
God is sovereign, and in his sovereignty, he chose to operate in the earth through men. So when
And
a person says,
let's break down sovereignty just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? This because people may not understand what that word sovereignty means. And you can help me out through this. When I'm thinking about sovereignty is that he has a plan, he has a will, but he allows us to carry out certain things.
yes,
Because I want to say a couple of things because I'm not like the biblical expert. You know what I'm saying? I read the Bible every day. I pray every day. I pray hard. I really, and it's not works, but I do feel like that we have to give God a certain amount of time because our
yes,
time is the one thing that we cannot get back. All right. So I want to
amen.
give him time, my time, out of respect for him. And hopefully during that time and our relationship grows, it's something that happens in me that he could use me in a certain way. And Reddy, I'm going to get to your comment in just a second. That being said, let's just go back to what we know. All right. This may or may not help where you're coming from. But when we all talk about God, and this may be one of the things that people use. I'm thinking about a God that created everything, right? He created the heavens, he created the earths, he created the angels, all of the angels. He created everything. So if God created everything, he also created Satan.
Yes,
He also created the third of the angels that left with Satan. All right. So when we say, why is there good and bad, that has been established even before we came along. Am I right in saying that?
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
so how do we rectify, is God in control when even his creation went against him?
Mm, that's facts. It's because God gave us a will, and he want us. I want you to think about the person who you love, your significant other. How would it feel if you had to pull your pistol every night and put it to your significant other's head and said, "Love me, or else there's going to be consequences."
That is just a terrible illustration, LP.
I, I mean, I like
I
just being
I hear I,
graphic
I hear you
to make
loud
the
and
point.
clear. I hear you loud and clear. The point is made. God doesn't want to force us to love him. He wants us to
Exactly.
get to a place that we establish a relationship with him. But at the same time, we also believe that that want and desire for him comes from him. Is
Correct.
that not true? Like he draws
That's
us
very correct.
unto himself. So at the same time that we're talking to people, and I do believe that sometimes people are on the other side of the fence because they're waiting for something authentic for God
Yes.
to use somebody in an authentic way. They know
Yes.
God. They feel God, even in opposition to God. Like how can you be in opposition to something that doesn't exist?
Right.
Like your opposition is to me is an opposition of something that you know exists. You just haven't ran. God hadn't touched you in a certain way. It's not your time yet. It's kind of like the conversion that Saul had to Paul. I get
Yes.
it. Sometimes
Yes.
people have those things that happen in their life, and that's all biblical as well. But I do feel like everybody has to understand, LP, the wholeness of God. Okay,
Yes.
the and I get what you're saying with the control. He can only, when we allow God to control us, then he has control. I get it 100%. But let's say not even his control with people. We're not talking about a human being that affects another human being. Let's talk about, and I know this happened in down New Orleans.
Yeah.
Hurricane comes through, all right? Tornado, hurricane,
Yes.
whatever, it comes through and it ravages uh, the land, and people automatically say, okay, God was trying to tell those people something. And, how do you deal with comments like that?
Well, I had to deal with that, being at, my hometown area, Mississippi Gulf Coast, New Orleans area. Um, I can remember people talking about, the Lord, you heard about that hurricane that's coming down here. The Lord finna punish these folks down here, for all the sin that they got in New Orleans and all the sin they got down here. And I was just listening like, oh. And so here's the deal. After Hurricane Katrina hit, um, New Orleans was back up and running, within 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people, people with money, you know what I'm saying? They in a much better situation as a result of what took place. So if God did that, what did he? I mean, did he missed? I mean, because when we look at the scriptures in the Old Testament, when God would judge a place, that place don't exist no more.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? you know, and so we have to understand that we got to quit blaming God for everything. You know what I'm saying? And every time we can't explain something immediately, we want to blame God. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like even in the book of Job, when it talks about, the different things that took place, you remember it was some people came and stole some stuff from Job. You know what I'm saying? And then it was a hurricane that came down and knocked down, the pillars that was holding up his children's house. You know what I'm saying? And then it was fire that came down and consumed the sheep. And so immediately the people said that the fire of God came down and consumed the sheep. And they look at what God did to Job, and know that if you can remember the conversation, the devil went and started making that stuff happen and started using people to do stuff. You see what I'm saying? And so, but Job said, the Lord gave and the
away.
Lord took away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. But the Lord didn't take that from you, bro.
Well,
but because we read that, we've come into the idea that, you see what I'm saying?
But I will say there's two different sides to look at that, because at the end of the day, if we understand using that example, which I think is a great example, like one of my favorite stories, one of the favorite things in the Bible that I have is that book of Job. God allowed Satan to do that. And he says, only thing I ask you not to do is kill him. And the object of the story was, what can we do to make this righteous guy unfaithful to you, God? I believe if you take that hedge of protection down, great example, LP. Satan said, if you take that hedge of protection down from around Job, he will curse you. So God allowed Satan to do everything for him. His children, his wealth, his health, everything was taken away. He even had an issue with his wife that was encouraging him to curse God. So even had, that's the only thing he had left was his wife, right? And she's like, Job, just curse God and die. She was fed up, but he did not turn, okay? So in that example, we have God allowing bad things to happen, using the hand of Satan to show Satan and all of us as an example that he is still, come on, man. If we'll just be faithful to him, right? If we'll be faithful, if we will be faithful even in the bad times, listen, I'm one of the proponents for real life happening. When you grow up and real life hits you in the face, what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
What are you gonna do? Who you gonna blame? You know what I'm saying? Who you gonna put it off on? I'm talking about real life stuff. Like I believe there is a hedge of protection up on God's people that he have, because random things happen. Random things happen. You could be driving your car on the highway. People have been shot in their car on the highway.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
People have
I know a particular sister that happened to her.
Right.
That happened to her.
People have been
somebody
randomly
rode up on the Center Park Parkway, and they shot up in her car. And the car door, it was something in the car door. The bullet got jammed into something in the car door, and that's why it didn't hit her. You know what I'm saying? like wow. You know what I'm saying? So But saying all that to say, I talked about that in one of the chapters, the biblical interpretation of Job,
So
the
so
book of
so
Job.
we need to be sure that people know we're talking about the book. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about LP's book. You can pick it up on Amazon. Who else can
And
I
and
get it?
I want y'all to understand this again. This book, and I state this many times, this book is not a my way or the highway. It's just my thoughts,
It is clearly
my
titled that.
ideas, and my suggestions.
It
I
is
mean,
clearly titled that.
I could be totally wrong. You know, and so I'm just, the same way I'm taking the initiative to think and think outside of the box and really do some homework. I want to encourage other people to do the same thing, as opposed to just going by what you were told, because we were told a lot of stuff, and a
Right.
lot of the stuff that they told us was totally wrong.
I get it. Let me do this real quick because he's put it up a few minutes ago. When you wrote the chapter dealing with finding value in others, being that is something you specialize in well, is that your favorite chapter and why?
It actually is one of my favorite chapters. And it's so, like, finding value in other people is like, I love doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because the enemy, I'm sure I'm not the only person that has the testimony in which we were giving up on. Somebody gave up on us. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was our parents, whether it was the people up there at the school, people in your community. You know what I'm saying? They gave up. You know what I'm saying? And so there's several people who feel that the world is done with them, like don't want anything to do with them. And so we have a responsibility as believers to pay attention to people. And when you pay close attention, and it requires work. It's easy for us to just look at somebody and see that, they flies unzipped, you know what I'm saying? Or they, you know, they look funny, or you know what I'm saying, they clothes don't match. It's easy to look and see that.
Right.
But when you pay close attention to people, God will begin to show you the value that they carry. And whenever you see it, speak to it. And when you
Gotcha.
see it, tell them. And whenever you do that, because you when you do that for people, you become valuable to them. So when you become valuable to them, your words about them, it has to be truth, because it came from you, and they feel that you are valuable. And so, I mean, I love that, man. Any person that if I can spend a good amount of time with them, I'm going to look for the value. I'm talking about, I'm digging. I'm asking questions. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find out their story. I'm trying to find out what their strengths are. I pay attention to certain things that and I'm going to look for that value. And when I find it, I'm going to call it out, and I'm gonna tell them, and I'm gonna give them some sort of word of encouragement so that they can pursue that value that's on their life. You know what I'm saying? And so it's very important to do that, because once those people see that value and they realize that value about themselves, that value that they have could be utilized on your behalf. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of the people that we cut off, a lot of the people that we dog out, we curse out, we through with them, we done with them, that's a bridge that you probably going to need to cross later on in life.
That's what's up, man. Good stuff. Let me give you one more. Legal Side Hustle said plant or water is the best thought process to have when dealing with people. This thought process is going to save a lot of stress, which means basically, I guess he's saying, like, if you just do your part, you know what I'm saying, and let God do
Yeah, I
the
talked
rest.
about that. I talked about that in the book. I like, my job with dealing with people became easy whenever I came to realize that I have one of two responsibilities with dealing with people, either
Gotcha.
plant or water. That's it.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because one man plant, another man water, God give the increase. And
Right.
so, like, my job, that makes my job so easy now. You know what I'm saying? Because we want people to change. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
we want to
right,
we
right.
want we want to say this dynamic word for them and to them and make them change overnight. You know what I'm saying?
So,
But
so,
that's not how it works. You get what I'm
so,
saying? So we just have that responsibility to do one or two things, plant or water. That's my thing. And that have made things so much easier for me.
I want to be sure because I feel like in the beginning of our conversation, we were kind of going around, and God is in control. We talked a lot about Him being in control. That being said, is there an issue or a statement that you feel like people get hung up with the most when it's talking about their acceptance of there is a God that really does love and care? Is there something that they get hung up with more than others?
It's because the thing that people get hung up on most is the idea that and it alludes to God is in control. When people say God is he's almighty, he's all knowing, you know, why did he, you know, why did this happen to me? You know what I'm saying? Because usually whenever you have these discussions with people, and they express to you their anger and their frustration about the church and about the Bible and how the Bible is enslaving black people and is, you know what I'm saying, all of these different things. And when you get to the bottom of the discussion, it always goes back to like I had a 3-day conversation with an atheist on Instagram one time, and we went back and forth for 3 days, and it come to find out it was a female, and she was it comes to, you know, she came to conclusion to let me know her real anger toward God was because she had been trying to have children for 5 years and she couldn't get pregnant, and she felt that God had done her a disservice. You know what I'm saying? And so that is what sparked her anger toward God. And you know, she tried to have like she had conceived twice, and the babies died, you know. And that right there was like, you know, God is all powerful, like why didn't God, you know, why did God have to kill my child? You know what I'm saying? That was the question or whatever. And so I got the opportunity to share my personal experience with that because me and my wife lost 2 children. You know what I'm saying? And I shared my experience on what how I responded each time and how I applied God's word during that time, because immediately grief, disappointment, and loss struck me. You know, especially the first time, because I can remember I was right after I married my wife, I was in the bathroom and I heard a voice say, um, "You know, your wife can't have children, right?" And
Hmm.
I'm like, "Hold on, wait, nah, that wasn't God. That wasn't God. That was the devil." And I
Right.
was like, I refuse that. I'm not going to accept that in Jesus' name. So anyway, my wife got pregnant like a year later, and I'm so excited because I'm about to have a baby. You know what I'm saying? And I can remember it was we had an event. I forgot where we were or whatever. I had to perform, and I remember my wife was going to she was going to see what's the I'm trying to remember. I think it was an event in Atlanta,
Gotcha.
a big church event in Atlanta. And I can remember I got a phone call afterwards, like after I got finished performing. Hey, we here in Atlanta. We at the hospital. You know, so I'm in the hospital. What? It's like, she started bleeding. I'm like, oh man, come on, man, don't tell me that. Well, anyway, she came on home, and you know, she was like, I'm gonna go by my mama. You know what I'm saying? So she went by her mama, and you know, I'm thinking everything was okay, but she called me. She was like, I gotta tell you, you know what I'm saying? I lost a baby, and like immediately, that voice that I heard came and revisited me. I told you your wife can't have children,
Right.
and immediately, like I broke down in tears, pain, hurt, disappointment, all that at the same time. But when pressure is applied, what's on the inside of you will come out.
Right.
And I immediately begin to say, I would not accept this. God is a God of restoration. God, I
That's
know you
good.
love me. And Satan, I refuse to accept these feelings. My wife is being restored right now in Jesus' name. That's immediately that's how I responded. And I can remember how I was just crying and but I was just speaking the word. God is a God of restoration. God is a God of restoration. My quiver is full. I just begin to speak that in the midst of that pain, that hurt, that disappointment, and that loss. And sometime after, shortly after, man, God immediately restored us. You know what I'm saying? My wife got pregnant with my oldest son. And after we had my oldest son, she ended up getting pregnant again, and the same thing happened. But this time I rolled my sleeves up and I was like, I done been through this before. I know how to handle this. Let's get
Right.
it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I
Right.
began
Right.
to engage in warfare. And it's important for us to be able to engage in spiritual warfare and speak the word in the midst of how you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because that will help you in your mental health. Because when you speak in the word, you speak in positivity, and that's positive vibrations that your brain is picking up, and it gives you the ability to get away from the trauma that your
Right.
brain is trying to take in. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And it gives you a sense of hope and a sense of peace. And that's what I experienced. And again, the Lord restored us, and my second son was born. You know what I'm saying?
So.
So I shared that with this sister. And when
Mm-hmm.
I shared that, that gave her hope. And so after that, that's when she really began to become, all the anger, the hatred, the hostility that she had toward me, all that was gone.
Wow.
And she had a sense of hope, and she was just telling me how encouraged she was by hearing my story.
Right.
So those are the things, man. The people feel like, God is in heaven with these strings, and he's just, I'm gonna make this happen, I'm gonna make this happen, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. That's what people think, because ultimately that's what we've been taught.
So, and there's a balance to that thought, LP. And I want to say this. I know you've been busy rapping, but apparently you haven't been too busy with all these kids y'all making over there. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like, dude, like you need some more work. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we done, dog. We done. We done. Shouts out to my wife, my beautiful wife, Miss Star Page. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what's
My
up,
three
man.
beautiful children. Shouts out to them. You know what I'm saying? Who really, 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 really was on me about this book.
That's what's up, man. Hey, we needed her to do that, and I tried to do my little part too. I tried to throw a jab in there. Let's get it, LP. Let's go.
Yeah,
Um,
you did that.
that being said, one of the things that I try to do when I read the Bible is understand the character of God. Okay. Because if you understand God's character, I think it kind of helps you understand situations you're going in. One thing that you said in your testimony about the situation you guys went through is that you immediately went to God. And the reason why you will immediately go to God is because you know that He has the ability to turn the situation, whether it's, hey, next time, or give me peace where we are right now, because that's a huge
Yes,
thing. Sometimes things doesn't change, but He can definitely give you peace. But more
correct.
importantly, we've seen in the Bible, LP, where God stopped a whole household, a whole kingdom from having children because Abraham and Sarah was in the wrong place.
Mm, mm, mm,
This is
mm,
an
mm.
illustration where God stopped a whole kingdom from having children because he did not want Sarah to have a child. And he wanted
Mm.
it to be known, and it was the person, the king over that kingdom, that came to Abraham and Sarah's like, why y'all do us like this? Why don't you just tell me that was your wife? Now,
Right.
of course, he said, like, she is kind of like my sister. She is my sister, but she's my wife too. I get it. But that's a clear depiction of how God can stop the womb, and that he does have some ability to pull some strings if he needs to. You see the balance that I'm trying to bring to that? Because we could say he ain't just pulling strings, but we got these biblical experiences in the Old Testament of what he did. Now I
Right.
understand when Jesus came, Jesus did. There's some changes that happened when Jesus came. He allowed us to see a little bit more clearly what God was doing through Abraham to get
There we
to
go.
where Jesus is. Okay, I
There we
get it,
go.
I get it. But I still say that even in the midst of everything that we have going on right now, all right, because people are dealing. Like you wrote the books on this book, and man, I think it's good stuff. And we're gonna get to a couple of things, questions that are out here in the comments. But I want people to understand that even in the worst of times, God has not moved. He sees people where they are. I don't care how bad it is, even
Amen.
in tragic loss. You say,
Amen.
why is there tragic loss? It's what you said
Because we have an
earlier.
adversary called a devil, and he comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Come on, come on,
But
and
Jesus
then
came
men,
that we may have life
and
and
then
have it
men
more
are in
abundantly.
there allowing that demonic pull to have them do something out of their
Absolutely.
flesh. You know,
Absolutely.
like okay, so right now we got a lot of domestic things going on in 2020 in the city of Birmingham.
Yes.
So a lot of things happening, and it's all domestic stuff. People are closed up in these houses, don't know how to communicate to each other, ain't said hi to the Lord yet,
Nope.
and want things to go well in their lives, and then say, well, what happens when people get shot up? Well, before we get to people getting shot up, let's look at the people that did the shooting.
Come on now. Tell the
and
truth, man
and,
of
and
God.
I'm going down the lane of, hey, people need to understand who God is, what the Bible is for, and how we can use it in our everyday life. That being said,
Amen.
Mr. Ruffin actually had something, a question for you, LP. How have you balanced being a man of many hats, husband, father, minister, barber, and brother, and etc.? How do you balance it all, LP?
Man, I honestly believe it is just, and I don't mean to sound religious when I say this, but this is real. It's the grace of God, bro. Like I honestly I can't explain it. God has given me the ability to wear these hats, man. I still get the opportunity to spend quality time with my children, training them in their gifts. I get the opportunity to spend quality time with my wife. We just have strategic things, that we do, so that we can make sure we spending quality time with each other. We make sure we date once a week.
That's
We make
good.
sure, like that's something that I do after I cut hair on Saturdays after I've had a long day cutting hair. Um, we have a sushi date. You know what I'm saying? Shortly after, you know what I'm saying? Sometime during the week, we gon' I'm a, baby, you got to put them heels on. You know what I'm saying? I need to see them legs. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? And we finna,
That's what's up.
you know what I'm saying?
That's what's
And
up.
then with my children, man, I make sure I have my one-on-one time with all of my children on a consistent basis throughout the week, and build with them. And from there, after I made sure that I've been able to do that. So from there, I'm in the wind. You know what
That's
I'm
what's
saying?
up.
I'm making things happen. I'm doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, my wife, she's a very accomplished woman who's doing some phenomenal things. And in the midst of those things that she's doing, I make sure I'm helping her, I'm accompanying her, and just being all just moral support. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the grace of God how I'm able to balance it all. You know what I'm saying? It just being totally honest. Because whenever I'm doing the work that I do for the people, it's not work for me. You know what
That's
I'm
what's up.
saying?
That's what's up.
It's not work at all. The work that I have to put in is being a husband and being a father. That's where the
Right.
work is. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And so, I've gotten the opportunity to have great examples in front of me, my pastor, just people that I'm connected to who have been mentors to me over the years. I've been able to learn from them, watch them, and see it be done. So that's how I'm able to balance it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been grace. All the things outside of my house, that stuff is that's my gift. You know, we all have gifts to do
Right.
certain things. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And you know, so that's how I'm able to balance it all.
Well, definitely, man. That's good stuff. I want to shout out a couple of people. EJ Kente, appreciate you hanging out with us. Mr. Smith, my man Westbury, good to see you coming through, brother. I appreciate you taking the time. I'm sitting here with my dude LP, who has written a book. I'm like excited about it. You know, I want to write a book. This guy wrote a book. You know what I'm saying? I want to support him. My thoughts, ideas, and suggestion for the Bible, the church, and religion. And this is part one. So it is the Bible. They can pick. You can pick it up at Amazon, right? Where else can they get it?
This is just on Amazon right now, and you know, I'm still waiting for my order to be processed so that I can, you know, have copies on hand.
Hey
You
man,
know what
can
I'm
I
saying?
bring
And
my? Can you autograph my book, man? You know what I'm saying?
of course,
I want
of
I want to
course,
have an autograph signed copy. You know.
no doubt. I got you, man. I got you. I actually signed my first copy today. You know what I'm saying? Somebody brought it to, you know what I'm saying, brought it to me and I signed it, man. It was my first time holding the book in my hand and
Wow.
I lost it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up,
You know.
man. That's what's up, man.
Mhm.
I'm so excited for you. We dove down into it a little bit, so we gave people enough of a tease, talking about what's in the book for them to go get the book and read it for themselves. It will be very thought provoking for people, and man, I want people to support you, dude. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. I appreciate it, man. And I want to encourage everybody, man, get this book, man. It's going to be absolutely amazing. The last latter part of the book, I'm talking about purpose. You know what I'm saying? And I dive way into it. And like right now, with people going through a lot of the things that they're going through and the negative experiences that they're having, I'm helping people to understand that they have purpose in the midst of this. And if they would be purpose driven, they would be the answer to a lot of the problems that we see. You know,
That's
a
what's
lot of
up.
the like you said, a lot of the domestic crime that we're seeing and things of that nature. If you make a decision to seek your purpose and operate according to your purpose, you will be the answer to these problems that we see. And that's my whole purpose of sharing a lot of the knee jerk information that I'm sharing, because what it does is, you know, when you know, like what we talking about, the issue of, you know, with God being in control or whatever, and I'm saying like God is in control when man submits to God, you know, and so I'm trying to encourage, you know, what about the people that's starving in Africa? You talking about the folks starving? Maybe you are the person to go and feed them.
And
Maybe
no,
it's
yeah, they don't
God
want to
putting
hear
that on
that.
your heart
People don't want
to
to
go
hear
and
that,
feed them.
LP. They do not want to hear that. That's too much of a charge. You know, I'm supposed to feed all those folks. Now, I get it, man. Though sometimes we have things placed in our hearts that we see are issues, and it's
Yes,
us,
yes,
us that God could use as vessels to actually
yes.
make a difference.
That's it, bro. That's real talk. That's basically what I'm
Love
communicating.
that.
I'm reiterating that on, you know, throughout the whole book. You know what I'm saying? We have to take the initiative and do those things that we know that God has called us to do and be what God has called us to be.
Man, I love that, man. I love that. I want to encourage everybody to get out and get it. You know what I'm saying? On Amazon. And I typed in this LP like Paul. I typed in your name in Amazon and the book came up. I'm like, that was easy. And I just ordered it. You know what I'm saying? And a couple of days, guess what? I got it in the mail. It was really that simple. So I want to encourage everybody to go out and go to Amazon and pick up my man's book, my man LP's book, and support him. And while you're out there, you know what I'm saying, you might even um, find some music you could pick up too and be encouraged with some of his music as well, because everybody knows that the hood needs Jesus.
Come on now.
The
That's
latest
real
song, man.
talk.
I love that, man. I love that. Not any other ways that people can get in contact with you, LP?
Man, just hit me up on you know, my website is lplikepal.com. You can hit me up on Facebook, LP Like Paul on Facebook, LP Like Paul on Instagram, LP Like Paul on Snapchat. So I'm on all those different social media outlets, and I'm very I'm posting things and talking about things all the time. And I love having conversations and discussions with people. So I look forward to having a conversation and a discussion with you. So shouts out to DJ Strick from having me on. You know what I'm saying?
You
Much
my
love to
dude.
you, man. I thank you for your continued support, brother. We've been at this thing for about
I'm a little younger
15
than
years.
you, so you probably was doing it way before, you know what I'm saying, I got into it. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt, man. We've been at this thing for years,
we
bro, and
have we
it's
have
been a
been.
blessing to see men um, loving people, bringing positivity to people. The world needs to see that more.
That's
And
true.
so this is the reason why Strict City voice has to be heard, and his show has to go on. You know what I'm saying? Because people need to see men doing positive things and supporting positive things. You know what I'm saying? So
Got
thank
it.
you for being who you are and doing what you do.
Well, brother, I love you. I love what you bring to the whole community. Keep doing it. I do want to bring up this last one. My man Jay, the founder of the Renaissance Academy Prep, he wants you to know that he's going to get his book. You know what I'm saying? So big shouts out to him for coming through. And
Thank you, brother.
man, appreciate the time that you've given us tonight. Hold what you got, LP. Listen. Were you not encouraged tonight? Like, there's no way in the world that you were watching this tonight and not encouraged a little bit. You know, I like the fact that I was able to share this platform with a man that loves the Lord, that is a great husband, a great father, in the community as a rapper, a speaker, and now author. Like when I write my book, I'm guaranteeing y'all I'm going to go crazy with it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be all of like 2 pages front and back. But I'm going to go crazy with my book when I write it. So I celebrate people that've taken the time to actually use their gift to put their thoughts on paper, to give it to other people. And then I'm also encouraged by you, people that will actually go and pick it up and buy it. So I'm asking you to do me a favor and to support my man LP. Go to Amazon.com and pick it up. I also want to say this, big shouts out to our people that are definitely pushing us all the time. UrbanHam.com is a media partner for Strick City Live. So definitely shouts out to them and all they do. For all the information of what's going on in the ham, go to UrbanHam.com. And of course, you've seen it all night. You can follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I am all over the place. And tonight, of course, the show is all over the place as well. I want to thank everybody from whatever platform you're watching. Thank you for the time. We're trying to do something to impact people. And we're going to continue to do this as long as the Lord allows. So appreciate the time. You guys hanging out with us tonight, man. I am so encouraged tonight from my dude, LP. That's what I'm talking about. I love what I do. And more to come. I told you guys I kind of dropped something real quick on you. And I'm going to say it one last time, and we're going to get out of here. Strick City is doing a shopping spree for kids in Birmingham, Alabama. More details to come. Yeah.